support, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it.
Mr. Senate President, please, may I speak? I'm a woman, and abortion has to do with women. It's very important, sir.
Let us go to clause. This has been stepped down in totality. Distinguished Senator, this has been stepped down in view of the conviction, but if you have anything to add, you can say.
Thank you very much, sir. Senator Natasha Akpabio, Kogi Central. Sir, this borders on abortion. And
yes, Senator.
Mr. President, we have been tutored over and over that when a matter has been concluded and you have dropped the gavel, in this particular case, to allow for more conversation, if you grant exemption to distinguish Senator Natasha, then you must extend the same extension to us, in which case our rules will become meaningless. I think the rules should be obeyed. We have said more discussion, which allow her to make any input, and I also intend to make more input. I think that is the whole essence of deferring it. To continue the debate, many of us will rather debate it here. So I think my distinguished sister should agree that these are the rules.
I'm not a spirit to know what the senator wanted to say. The senator said, I want to say something. But if I knew, I would have referred her to Rule 52, sub 6.
All right, that section, Akpabio went on to rule her out of order. But I must say that he did show grace. But, you know, Natasha being a woman, I believe, should have been given the floor to speak. I watched the proceedings and debate, and she appeared to have been calling to speak before the debate for minutes before that debate was closed. The bill was subsequently referred to the Senate Committee on Judiciary and Human Rights for further review. However, we're getting reports that women groups are planning to issue a statement to stop the review and demand a public hearing instead, objecting to the passage of the amendment. Now, when you look at some of the sections of the abortion clause in the Criminal Code Act, it appears quite controversial and confusing. I did look at it. For example, let's read that section 4 of the amendment of section 230 on supplying drugs or instrument to procure abortion. Section 230 of the Principal Act reads in part, any person who unlawfully supplies to or procures for any person anything whatever, knowing that it is intended to be unlawfully used to procure the miscarriage of a woman, whether she is or is not with child, is guilty of a felony and is liable to imprisonment for 5 years. I mean, this is such a huge debate. This debate highlights, the controversial nature of abortion legislation in Nigeria. Ayo, before I come to you, I'd like to take some reactions on X. But like I read in that section, the idea of miscarriage of a woman, I mean, that's, that also probably was what she was trying to debate. It's not miscarriage of a woman, it's miscarriage of a fetus. There's nobody that willingly wants to miscarry a child. It's an involuntary action, correct? But let me take some reactions on X. This person wrote, Senator Natasha has a valid point. Issues like abortion affect women directly, and her voice deserves to be heard. Silencing her only shows how male-dominated the system still is. Rule of order or not, the Senate should at least listen when a woman speaks on issues like this. Another X-user wrote, abortion is not the only sensitive thing discussed in the House, but the rule must be followed. There is a channel everyone in the House can make points when a case has been closed. She was not silenced. The House was just reminded of the proper thing to do. Another ex-user wrote, we don't have many women in the National Assembly, and since it's a deliberation on a topic that concerns women, she should have been given the chance to air her views. Rule or no rule. Finally, an ex-user wrote, see men talking about abortion like they get pregnant. That was actually my favorite act. But this is such a big topic. Yes. Worldwide, in the United States, senators get removed for, some controversial comments about abortion. But like I said in my opening statement, I believe that she should have been given the floor, even if it was for 30 seconds. Senate President Godswill Akpabio heard her and was about to give her the floor until Senator oshiomole intervene.
Okay, so what I want to interpret from that interaction is that Senator oshiomole is a stickler for rules, irrespective of what happens. But there's such a thing as discretion. And I believe that it is in the power of the Senate President to have discretion as to, okay, this matter, even though it's been stepped down, because of the nature of it and the fact that we have only 4 women in the Senate. Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, Senator Ekpalibo Banigo, Senator Idi Atolunronti Adebole, and Senator King Igwe. 4 of them. Out of the 4 of them, 1 woman has consistently had her voice, tried to have a voice in the Senate. I don't know why. I don't know where the other 3 senators are. Maybe we should also spotlight the fact that despite the fact that women are disproportionately not represented in the Senate, we don't even hear the voices of those who are represented. I like the fact that you noted that she had raised her hand earlier whilst the debate was still going on, and this is not the first time. We don't want to make it seem as if it's a victimization as a result of what had transpired prior. I don't want to say that is what is happening. I don't want to believe that is what is happening, because that's a hallowed chambers. I want to imagine that they'll be very professional. Now, on a topic like this that involves women directly, at least 1 female voice ought to be heard.
I think one person spoke and backed the amendment, saying that it should be increased to 5 years. The felony punishment or the punishment should be increased to 5 years.
Yeah, but no, in terms of for the abortion conversation and nitty-gritty of it, I believe that what the Senate President did initially by using his discretion to say, okay, you know what, speak up, and then was in order.
I thought so
we understand the rules, and people talk about rules and rules, but rules are made for the people and to enable a smooth running of the process. In extenuating circumstances like this, where you feel that the conversation will be made richer or be made robust and it's more inclusive, especially by the primary stakeholders, I thought that at least that discretion ought to have been extended to her. And this is also to make a bigger plea for ensuring that the voice of, this is not Senator Natasha Akpoti anymore. This is Kogi Central speaking. They must recognize that. Because when you silence the voice of 1 person, you're not just silencing her voice, you're silencing the voice of an entire constituent. You're silencing the voice of an entire demography, which is the women of Nigeria, whom only 4 of them out of 106 of them represent. And so I think in that regard, that ought to have been done. That's so simple.
In all fairness, quick comment. I commend Senator Akpabio because he exercised that discretion.
He did. He did very well.
It doesn't mean that if he does otherwise, I will not say it. I will say it. But on this, I commend Senator Akpabio. And I don't think Senator oshiomole should have just come in there. He just allowed the woman to speak.
That is it. But now the matter has been, pushed to a judicial review. Like I said, some women groups are trying to...
Town hall. Let's have
that's
public,
what they're asking.
That's what
the women
they should have that.
Want a public debate. The matter should not be debated by only men and just 4 women and all of that. There should be a public debate and all of that. But we will follow up on the story. But also kudos to the senators for bringing these sort of sensitive issues to the floor.